Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. And on today's show, I have Hargus Marcel. You are going to want to see this interview and learn more about Hargus. He is the comedian over at the Baldkobbers Theater and for the Baldkobbers Show. And so you're going to want to check that out. Great history. It's just unbelievable. It's been over 3 years since we've had him on the show, so it's going to be good to have him back on the show. Now, we are about out of March, and so maybe you're watching the show and you did not get to come here on spring break. It's a very popular time here in Branson now, but the rest of the year is ahead of you. So folks, if you're thinking, man, should I go to Branson on vacation? It's the perfect vacation destination. What I'm finding is a lot of families are coming here, and what I call is multi-generational. So you have grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, and then the kids. And so it's the perfect place for the whole family to come. There's so much here to do, whether it's the shows, the attractions, the lakes, shopping, of course, eating, golfing, theme parks. There's just so much here for everybody to do. So if you haven't been to Branson, Missouri in a while, we want to welcome you back. We want you to come and see us. And we're looking forward to serving you here in Branson this year. We'll be back in just a minute with Hargus Marcel. Hang tight.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. And on today's show, we have Hargus Marcel, world famous comedian from the Baldkobbers. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate that.
You were on the show. It's been over 3 years ago. So it's been a long time since you and I have talked.
It has been, yes.
So
yeah.
You've been staying out of trouble.
No, I've got to be honest with you. No, I haven't. I found a little trouble to get into.
Found a little trouble to get into?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to know what that trouble is?
No, it's still under investigation, but I might have to go to court. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not very fun.
No.
That's not very fun. So let's take people back, because part of what we do in every show is we take people way back, because they don't necessarily, when they see you on stage,
right,
they don't necessarily know how you got to that point. And so take us back to you getting into the entertainment business.
Well, actually, I got into it by accident. Back in 71, latter part of 70, I think it was. I was working.
A baby. I was actually just being born in 70.
Sorry.
There we go.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. It was a long time ago.
That makes me, I need a walker now to get out of here. You make me feel old.
Well.
Anyway, back then I was working as a welder in Springfield, Missouri. Okay. And the place that I worked at, there was 4 different guys there that had formed this little bluegrass band. And they'd play on the weekend, Saturday night mainly, somewhere around southwest Missouri. And anyway, my older brother, who worked there at the same time, he said, you know what? I said, let's just mess them up this coming Saturday night. So they was playing there south of Aurora at a little community building. And it always drew a good crowd in this building. So anyway, we go over there that night. We didn't tell them we're coming. I'm dressed up in my get-up back then, overall, the old floppy hat and all that stuff.
So were you kind of already doing a comedy thing at then, or you just were like, let's do a joke?
That's what I was doing, just doing a joke, because the gentleman, the head honcho, you might call him, of the little band, he also tried to MC it. Okay, well, he did a good job, but he was very nervous at it. And when he would talk to the crowd, he was more or less looking way up into the sky or the ceiling.
Okay.
So that was just perfect. So anyway, they get into maybe 3 or 4 songs, blah, blah, blah. And my brother and I, we sitting out there in the crowd toward the back, we just jumped up. And I can't remember what we said, requested a song, said, hey, how come you don't play this song? That's one of my favorite songs. And we got back and forth. And of course, it threw Dean completely off. I mean, he didn't even know who he was. He couldn't have told you his name. So anyway, we had a blast that night after we all got settled in. And then after...
So did that happen like all during the show?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Here and there. I mean, we were smart enough to let them do their thing, but we had our fun too.
Okay.
And we even got on stage with them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it just blew their minds. But after we got through and all that, they said, "Hey, man, that was fun. Why don't you guys join us next week?" Or, So, okay, that's how I got into it, by accident. Just a practical joke.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so before this, were you kind of always a practical joker kind of person?
Nope, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. People think that I am this way all the time. I take medication for it. I try to control it. But anyway, I'm not this way all the time. When I was younger and in school, I was very quiet, shy. Yeah.
Huh.
So I guess it's my alter ego when I put that overalls on. And
so what happened? What happened after that?
Well, after that, like I say, we did that. I think for a couple of years. Not every weekend, but it was pretty steady. And
so at that point, were you still in the audience, or were you going out
as
part of the show then?
I was going out part of the show then.
Okay.
And we done I can't tell you who sponsored it, but it was a little talent show at the mall in Springfield. Okay, and we won that thing. And I don't know, I think the prize money was $500, and you split that up, and that don't even buy you gas. But anyway, that was a big thing for us, So after that, there was a gentleman got a hold of me. He said, I hear you do comedy. I said, no, I go have fun. I might cut up, but I don't do comedy. And he had a show on the weekends in Springfield, and he asked me if I wouldn't mind joining them. I said, sure, I'll try it, see what you think. So I did that for one winter. And then I sitting at home one evening, and phone rang, and there was a gentleman from Eureka Springs, Arkansas called me, and he said, I hear you're a comedian, and a good one. I said, I don't know where you heard that from, but I mean, I have fun, okay? And he said, well, I've got a new show going in Eureka, and I need a comedian. Would you be interested? I said, I don't know. I really don't. He said, well, how about bringing your stuff or whatever you got and coming down and catch the show? Bring the family. I said, okay. So we go down, I think it was on a Monday night, and meet Dave and Dee, his wife. And Dave asked me, he said, would you bring your stuff? And I said, yeah. He said, well, why don't you come out and do a spot on the show? And I said, well, tell me when and where. So did. It went over good. And after the show, of course, he said, how would you like to do this full time? I said, I don't know. I said, I live in Cassville. Huh. And I said, this is a long drive. He said, yeah, I know. But he said, you could do it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give it a whirl.
And so you're working somewhere else at this point?
I was doing carpenter work at that time during the day.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that's what was hesitant. I didn't know what I wanted to work out in the sun all day and then go do a show that night.
Gotcha.
Okay. But anyway, he said, okay, let's try it for a month, see what happens. Did, and I stayed with him for 24 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so did that become your main job then, or did you still work during the day?
I still worked during the day. Yeah. I did.
So you worked a lot then?
Oh, yeah. I missed a lot of the kids growing up, but, got to make a living.
Right. So over those 24 years, I'm guessing you really honed in your craft of comedy.
Right.
Now, because you said at the beginning, I'm not a comedian. I'm just going to have fun.
Right.
But I'm guessing all that time, you're like learning what works and what doesn't work.
Yes. Usually, this is my 51st year of doing it, but usually within the opening routine as you go out your first spot, you can pretty well tell what's going to work and what's not, how much you can get away with. You kind of get a feel of the audience.
Yeah.
Some audiences you get goofy as you want to be and they just eat it up.
Yeah.
And then there's other ones just wants the routines that you have built. You have to feel your way through it.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to stop right here, and we're going to be back in just a second with more with Hargis. So stay tuned. Hey folks, welcome back to the show, and today we are with Hargus Marcel, the comedian over at the world famous Baldkobbers Show. And Hargus, you had just kind of talked about you had spent 23, 24 years at this show in Eureka Springs, and so what happened after that?
After that, we were doing our Christmas shows down there toward the end of the season, and a gentleman came over and caught the show. He was looking for a comedian here in Branson. People might have heard of him. His name was Mo Bandy. So anyway, he caught the show, and after we talked, he said, "Would you be interested in coming to Branson?" I said, "I guess. I suppose I'd like to see something new."
Yeah.
So I went to work with Mo.
Okay.
And we worked together, I think it was 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah. And he decided he would rather do some road work and stuff instead of fighting the business here in Branson, you know
Right.
what I'm talking about. So after that, I took a little, well, no, I didn't. I worked for Country Tonight 1 year. Right, yeah. Okay. After that, I took a little hiatus, vacation type deal. And then I wound up going to Tucson, Arizona and working with the Sons of Pioneers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they called me. I just sat by the phone, you know.
You don't even have, like, people just call you randomly. Oh, you want to work?
Yeah, you want to do something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do something. So I went to Tucson, the wife and I, met the guys down there and done a show with them. And they said, "Yeah, this is going to work. Go back to Missouri and pack your stuff, come on down, we'll spend the winter," which was great because I played golf mostly every day, you know, and do a show of the night. Had a great time. It worked out good. And then in April, then we'd move back up to Branson and do a show out to Shepherd of the Hills during the summer months. And then in October, we'd go back to Tucson. And the latter part of that, I think I worked with those boys 6 years, close to 6. Anyway, I wound up getting connected with Tim Mabe. He caught the show when I was working with the Pioneers, and he said, "Hey, we kind of looking for a comedian, you know. Would you be interested in?" I said, "Yeah, I'd be interested in talking." So anyway, I wound up hiring on with the Baldkobbers back then and been with them 14 years.
14 years. So you have pretty long history at jobs. You don't change them very often, which
No.
is good stability.
Yeah, right.
So they must like you enough to keep you around.
Well, they're afraid of me.
So when you come out on stage, like you're probably a guy I probably wouldn't recognize, like just walking down the street, as the comedian, because you kind of have a whole different like persona on stage, right?
Right, yeah. You
know?
you got to get into that character, or I think,
Right.
myself. That's my character. And as soon as I'm just 2 foot behind the curtain from the main stage, I'm myself as I am right now. As soon as I go past that curtain, I'm Hargis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just click it.
And how do you think of new things? Like, how does that happen?
Oh, that is difficult. It's getting more so nowadays. It's back when I was younger, I was really into physical comedy. I've done a lot of dumb things over here to get a laugh.
Yeah.
But as time and age goes on, you slow down. All right. So now I'm more into the routines, the jokes, and I try to do kind of stay up the modern times, but that's hard to do when my character is I'd say a hillbilly,
Right. Right. And so if someone's never seen the Baldkobbers Show, it's
Right.
It's the first show that was in Branson.
Right. 1959 is when they started.
And
Yeah.
so there's a long, long history there. And it's kind of what I would say in some respects, there's a format to that show. And part of it is the comedy skits.
That's right.
And so if someone's never seen that show, kind of walk them through what can they expect.
Well, I'll tell you what you can expect. A good opening act, the Mabes and all the singers. It's a great opening. All right. And then after that, they do 4 or 5 songs. And some of them are country, some of them are kind of more up to date. It's a good mix. Okay. And then that's where, ta-da, I come out. Yes. Okay. So I try to mess it up. It's just to keep people guessing what's going to happen next. And like I say, the first routine will tell you more or less what you can expect and get by with. And if I feel like I've got the green light, watch out, anything's possible.
Yeah. So it may not always be the same thing as what you're saying.
Well, yeah, we have to kind of stay to the routine time-wise is what we're going by. Once you get it timed out. Mm-hmm. But I have a hard time with that a lot of nights. I mean, I like to get off, wander out through the field, and then come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've been doing the comedy for 51 years.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in Branson that's done it longer? That you know of?
I think Gary Presley and myself have been doing it. No, wait, I'll have to give it to Gary. I think he was doing it before I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys are probably the 2 longest comedians.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's remarkable. I mean, you think about that. That is who can say that they've been a comedian for 51 years? Very few people.
Who can say they'd want to be a comedian 51 years?
That's true. Well, I don't know. I think, there's a lot of people out there probably trying to be a comedian or trying to be comedy clubs or whatever.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it, there's in the world or in the United States, there's very few comedians that are part of a standing show.
Right. Yep.
So anyway, I think it's really awesome. And okay, anything else we need to know about the Baldkobbers Show? So it's going to be basically a 2-hour show.
2-hour show with about a 15-minute intermission. Okay, get up and get your snacks, the restrooms, what have you.
Yeah. And
then we'll kick it off again, and we'll finish it up. And I'll tell you what, the show that we have worked up this year is a fast-moving, fast-paced show with a lot of great music in it and hopefully a lot of good comedy.
Yeah.
But I won't know that until Friday night.
I have been told that there's going to be is there some light changes, set changes, some new stuff happening out there?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So,
a lot of new gadgets that are added, like lighting and...
Now, you're also known for making funny faces.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And so, did you have to practice that?
Or? No. Going way back to when I first started. Back then, I feel like it was a lot easier comedy back then. We didn't have all the world troubles to speak of, or the what was going on in the country back then as it is today. It was easier to make people laugh. More slapstick back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't you think it's still important that more important now maybe is to make people laugh?
Oh yeah, it's more important nowadays because there's so much to worry about nowadays. You got to get people's minds off their troubles. Come in, sit down, enjoy the music, enjoy the show, get your mind off everything else for a couple hours anyway. Yeah.
So do you still work during the day, or are you kind of retired during the day and just do this at night?
Yeah, I do this at night. This is my full-time job. I quit working during the day years ago.
There you go.
Yeah.
The times of the show and days for folks.
Well, we're going to open March 4th, which is this Friday night, and then we'll go 6 nights a week.
Okay.
Every night but Sunday.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do that until I think it's the 18th of December.
Yeah, so you'll be busy.
Oh, yeah,
You'll be
busy.
busy.
Yep.
Folks, here's the deal. If you want to laugh, you want to see some great country music, you want to see an original Branson show, really the longest running show in Branson, over 60 years now.
63 this time.
63 years. Go see the Baldkobbers. Go see Hargus. Here's the deal. I'm going to say if you don't laugh, you let me know and I will go buy you a steak dinner, because I don't think it'll happen. I think this guy with 51 years of comedy is going to make you laugh. And if you don't laugh, there's something wrong with you. So we'll be back in just a moment to wrap the show up. Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson. We're wrapping the show up today. We want to thank Hargus for coming by. I'm telling you, 51 years in the comedy business is unheard of. And so go check them out at the Baldkobbers Theater. Go over there and see the Baldkobbers Show, one of the longest running shows here in Branson, over, 63 years now? I mean, that's amazing, unheard of. And so you'll want to check them out. They're over on Highway 165 in the Branson Famous Theater. If you go down 165, it's just a little ways on the right-hand side from the Titanic Museum there on 76 Country Music Boulevard. You can catch them there virtually every night, except I think he said Sunday nights. Our next artist that we're going to have on the show next week, first time he's ever been on the show, is Larry Holiday. And so he's in several shows over at the Branson Star Theater. You can catch him at the Outlaw Eagles and then in Creedence Coolwater Review. We'll look forward to learning more about Larry and his the things he does in the entertainment business. I do want to tell you about a couple upcoming events. Just around the corner is Young Christians Weekend over at Silver Dollar City. There's going to be a lot of great bands out there. On April 1st, Friday night, we have Manic Drive. On April 2nd, we have Unspoken. They're a really good Christian pop rock band. And then some other things that are coming up. April 16th, Terry Bradshaw will be back in town over at the Clay Cooper Theater. And then we've got Neil McCoy doing a couple dates, April 17th and 18th, I believe, over at the Clay Cooper Theater as well. You may want to check their schedule just to be sure about that. And so, folks, we have great entertainment that is here every day. And then we do get these special events where they come in for just a day or two. And if you're like saying, who's playing when? How can I figure all this out? Well, go check out ibranson.com. Those folks can help you plan your entire vacation. You can book it all on that website. You can book your shows, your attractions, your hotels, the whole deal. It's simple. It's easy. It's going to save you time, probably save you money, and save you headache trying to figure it all out. So check out those folks at ibranson.com or call them at 877-ENTERTAIN. Now, if you have a guest you would like to see on the show, go to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Play Branson, and let us know. And we'll do our best to get them on a future episode of Play Branson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week here on Play Branson.